Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Wednesday.
Okay. Thanks, Pencil dear. So yesterday we have seen the certification installation, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So we'll go through the certification installation one more time. So you will install a certificate when the existing partner certificate is expired or when you're enabling a new partner into your system, the integration. Okay. What you will do is first you will receive the certificate through the email or like through the shared folder. So can you guys mute on yourself? I'm hearing my voice back. Okay. So we'll install the certificates like when the existing partner certificate is expired, or new partner, you are enabling a new partner into your organization. So before coming to certificates, so you'll receive a certificate through the email or a shared folder. So you will receive a certificate, and then so you'll place so that particular certificate. For example, so let's say this is a certificate which I received from my partner. So the first step what I have to do is to come here to your like where your integration server is installed. For example, say mine is installed in C, softwareag, integration server, instances, and default. Okay, there is a search folder. I will replace here. And the same time, I will take a backup. So you can take anywhere, okay, in the existing server. So you need a server. So the same certificate has to be taken a backup. So say here, I'll create a new folder or like the documents. Correct. Okay. So inside partner certificate, let's say this partner A. So partner A. So inside this partner A, I will place the partner certificate. So if you have one more partner, then you'll create one more folder so that we have the track of the existing certificates. So if something happens to the existing certificate, you can take this file and you can reinstall again. Okay, this is just a backup. Okay, so where we placed our certificate inside our software AG integration server instances default then search folder. Here, what you have to do, you have to take the path of this certificate. So this path has to be given in the configure client certificate. Okay, see, actually the certificate it requires is the .der, but we have the .cr, which we can install .cr also, not a problem. But recommended is .der. There are tools where you can convert .cr file to .der. So it is administrator, and then this type. So which type of certificate it is? So the customer will tell you whether it's SSL authentication or verify or encrypt or verify and encrypt or message authentication. Sometimes the same certificate will be applied for all. So you see the message saying successful imported certificate for subject, and you can see the details here. So what is your certificate details? Who is the issuer? And then what is the serial number? The serial number should be unique for all the certificates. Okay, so if there is a problem, then you can see to validate not before and validate not after. This is the expiry date. After 2022, so the certificate will be expired, and this will be accepted only after 2014. So 2014 to 2012 will work, not more than that. and serial number. Okay, this one. And there is one more concept here. So key store and trust store. Okay, so the key store and trust store certificates. This is like one more type of file. So we'll call it as a Java key store Java key store file. So this JKS file, if you see, so you see key store and then trust store list, key store list and trust store list. Key store list, what we'll be having is your own certificate. For example, you are working for company ABC, then your ABC company details will be in the key store, and trust store will be all your partner certificates. So if you have like 50 partners, all your 50 partners will be installed into your trust store, but key store will be having your own certificate. Okay, you can have multiple aliases, but this aliases has to be preferred here. So since like I did not enable, I have not enabled, but if it is in the real time, so it should be enabled. So if you want to edit, you can edit, and you can assign the key store. So these two files actually showing up from here. Okay, so you can configure them. So once you edit, and so you have to add your, for example, say you are working with a new partner and you have to enable a new partner. So let's say the alias which you're using out of these two, so this is the one. So go to this particular directory where my JKS file is. Well, you can see here softwareag commons UNF. Platform build. So platform trust of JKS. So this is the file. This is my JKS file. So if I want to add a partner certificate to this, I won't be able to directly. I have to use any third party. So here the one which I'm using is the port select. So you see the name PORTECLE, port select. Okay, so this is a jar file. So how to run a jar file is java minus jar. So there are the other tools also. You can use any of them. So first I will load the file. So it accepts all this type of formats. Where my file is. C drive. No, no. So there is a trust store which we are checking. Okay, so you have to, so the JKS file will be password encrypted. You can it would be having it's your like organization one. So you have to check with your administrator what is the password. But if it is a local host or like the comes with the softwareag first one, it will be managed. Okay, so I can change the password also. So these are the existing certificates. If I want to add new one, so there is an option called import trust certificate. So I can import the certificate. I can do it from I have desktop also. Okay, the certificate already exists in the key store under alias. We want to install and import it. So if it is already existing, then it will show up this message. You don't need to do again. but in this case I'm doing it as this. Okay, trust certificate imported successfully, and you can open up and you can check the same details, the serial number and the expiry date. So this is different. Last modified date today, number 30. 2022 May 21st. You can check the same date, integration server. Okay, 2022 May 21st, and then serial number 0002 3877. Okay, so installing a partner certificate, first you have to install, like you have to take a backup and put one for like one into your archive directory and one into search folder, and copy the path and import the certificate by using the path you copied. Okay, give the path here and then make a username and install it, so it will show up here. So once you complete this certificate import here, you have to add same file to your trust store also. So if you want to use this trust store, you won't be able to edit directly, so you have to use any other tool. In our case it's a Portsley. One second. Okay, any doubts here? Can we continue? Okay, thanks. Okay, next here what we need is ports. So you go to user management and ports, or ports to user management. Okay, so your help. We will see the ACLs and user management last, and we'll see the ports now. So these ports are like list down like what are the available ports for your integration server. So this, if you see the 999, I mean 9999, it's a diagnostic port for your integration server. So these two ports will come when at the time of installing your integration server. So at the time of installation itself, like you have to select which port number this is, and the same will be appear here. So by default it will be HTTP port, and your customer wants HTTPS port, then you have to come and configure here. So this should be with the help of your network team. First you have to check with your network team for this particular server what is the available HTTPS port. Okay, so they will give the number of the port, and you have to come here add a port. So for example, you are implementing a HTTPS, then select the HTTPS, you submit. Once you submit, so the number which your network team assigned to you to connect with the partners. So let's say they have given a port called the 5563. Okay, so you can type that and you can give your own alias. Okay, so the description is optional, and you can mention like why you have created this new port, and then so this port details where you want to store, so in which package you want to store the port details, and then binding address. For example, if you want to bind anything to this particular port, then you can use it. Remaining else, make it. And since it's a HTTPS port, we have to specify how the partner or someone else who is connecting to this particular port, whether they have to use uh, the certificate, username and password, or something else. And this is a mandatory field. So if you say what is this, is JSSC. So I'm not sure about this JSSC. So if you want client application authentication to send the username and password, so you can use it. Or so if you want to request a client certificate, you don't have the username and password, you can do this. Okay, but this is a mandatory. Sorry, this is optional. If you select here, it has a required client request. Sorry, required client certificate. Then this listener should accept which, I mean, like the certificate he has to pass, right? So that certificate where he has to match what is the certificate he is passing, where he has to match. So the alias name you have to specify here. Okay, so don't think much on this. Like here, the important on the concept, it's not this one. Okay, so we have one more concept called the file polling. So file polling is the important and which will be asking in the most of the interviews. So they will ask whether you have done the any file polling or not. So we'll see how to do the file polling. So you can do the other ports also, not only the file polling. Give me 1 second. Hello, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, thanks, Arna. Okay, so the file polling is so what we do is like usually, so you will create a FTP port, I mean like FTP directory or FTP server. Then you'll ask customer to post your files to FTP file. So you'll maintain a FTP server and like you'll create one folder for a specific partner and you'll ask your partner to post all the data to that particular FTP server. So when you don't have the FTP server with you, and you can create a one folder inside your integration server, and then you can give the customer that location, and that will act as a FTP. So what is the advantage here is you don't need to get a separate FTP. So your local directory itself work as a FTP. So customer will post the data into that particular folder, and from that folder you will be picking the data and you will be processing it. So we'll see how to configure the file polling. So the same way, go to add ports. So these are the available ports, and if you want like FTP port also, you can do it. but all these port things has to be done with the help of network team, not on your own. Okay, so but file polling we can do it on our own. So web methods file polling, submit, and then so in which package you want to store this. Let's say I'll maintain the WM root. I have the existing file polling which I can take to and okay. So in which package I want to we'll go with the new one only so that you'll be able to understand. Okay, so where I want to store my this file polling port and then alias name. How do you identify that particular port and then description related to that alias and then monitoring directory. Okay, so let's say I'm placing my file polling into WM root for root package and my name is sorry my alias name is test file polling. Okay, description is like created for test, or if you have anything for a partner specific you can do that. So monitoring directory. Okay, so this monitoring directory is nothing but where your partner will post the data or where you want to look for the data. Work directory. For example, if you receive any file from the partner, okay, so you'll be receiving like hundreds and hundreds or like one by one you'll be receiving the partner. When you're working with that folder, what you do? So you'll take the file from monitoring directory, you will put into working directory when you're currently working with that particular file. Once it completes, then you will move to completion directory and then error directory if there is any error. Is this clear? Monitoring directory is nothing but where you want to look for the files. Once you get the file, you'll put it into working directory and will work on that. Once you complete your work, then you will move to completion directory if it is successful, or else you will move to error directory. Out of these directories, only monitoring directory is the mandatory. Others, if you mention, it will take it up. Otherwise, it will automatically create. So we'll see now. Okay. So inside dev2, I have file folder. This error and done already there. Go with the new folder. Okay, so I'm created one folder called the partner A file polling, and I want to make this as a my monitoring directory. So I will give this directory and so my physical machine details to the partner. So that partner will connect to this service. I mean like this system, and he will place the data here. Okay, and then working directory I won't give anything. See what happens, and then file name filter. How do you want to identify a file? So I will say I will receive all times .txt files, star.txt, or if you are receiving the XML, star.xml. I mean extension. So if you do star, it will come star, and you want to, like the customer will always send. So starting with some letters, say partner A underscore order, okay, underscore some extension, then you'll say star. So this will take only when the file starts with partner A order underscore and then whatever it comes. Or if you want to take all the files that are with extension .txt, you can do that. Or .xml, you can use the XML also. Okay, and then file edge. So how much time your file has to be active in the monitoring directory? You can specify the seconds. And then content.
Can we give the, yeah, Venkat?
Yes or no?
Hello?
Yes.
Okay. In file name filter, can we give the some other, I mean, two file names like two file extensions like XML and docs,
Yes, yes.
documents
You
like
can
that
give it as a
also,
comma
or only
separately.
one?
You can give it as a comma
Okay, fine.
separately.
Okay, okay.
Or if you want to take all the files, just make it as a star. Okay, 1 second. So file age, if you want like how many seconds the file has to be expired. If it not pick up, then you can mention up here. For example, other than XML, if you receive any other file, and if it's when you want to remove from the directory, you can mention the seconds. And then content type, application slash XML, if you're receiving a JSON, application dot slash JSON, you can specify the content type also. Okay, so allow recursive polling and enable clustering. So this one, so enable clustering, I don't know, but allow recursive polling. So the recursive polling means like again and again we have to come and check for the file. And log file extension optional. So this log file extension, when you're working, for example, this is a .xml file, right? So when you see the .xml file, when your file polling picks this particular file and working on that file, so it will change this XML file to the log extension, whatever it is, so that it won't pick in the next polling. For example, this is a .xml file. When I pick this for the processing, I'll make to let's say .log. So this .xml will convert into .log file, so that your file polling won't pick this file again, because it's already processing. Currently, it's processing. Okay, so the number of files processed per interval. For example, you are receiving like hundreds and hundreds, so it should not pick all of them. Your performance will be decreased. So you can give the number. So you can give like say 20 pick, not more than that. Okay, again it's an optional. And which service you want to run? Run service as a administrator, or like if you have any other user, you can give that user. And message processing, how do you want to, so this is the message. Okay, so this like you will receive the file from this directory and with this extension, and how do you want to process that message? So processing service, so let's say you have one service. Okay, so let's say this is my service which has to be executed whenever there is a file in this particular directory. So I will call this service, enable, make it as a yes, so that it will enable immediately. If you say no, you have to enable it manually. So we'll say enable no. So we can go to ports and we can enable on our own. So file polling interval, like how many seconds this service has to go and look here and pick the files. So I will say for every 10 seconds. If your files are huge and it takes time, so you have to mention this interval based on your file size and the frequency. Okay, so log only when directory available changes. Okay, so for example, if there is any changes here, then it has to log the details. And directory are NFS module file system. So you have to check how your directory is, whether it's NFS mounted or normal file system. So if you have cleanup service, which will clean all these files here from the error directory, completion directory, working directory, you can write your own or by default it will. Okay, so it's a clean at startup. Yes, so it will clean up at the starting of the service and clean up file edge. Okay, so this cleanup file. So how many days you want to remove the file from all these directories? Cleanup interval. How many hours you want to run this program to clean the files? And maximum number of invocation threads. So this maximum number of invocation threads. So for example, what do you say? So this particular service, how many times they has to go and pick the files and process it? So you are receiving like 100, and out of them, so you want to give only 10 to this. Then you can give the number here. So I'm just getting what is the difference between these two: number of files to process per interval and maximum number of invocation threads. Okay, so the interval we are saying 10 seconds. So within 10 seconds, how many files you want to process here? So that is this. But this maximum number of invocation threads. For example, say within a second you received 100 files. You don't want to pick all the 100 files, but you can pick at the same time how many files. So I can pick 5 files at a time and I can process. So if it is like one of thread is losing, I will go and get again one more. Or you can increase the size also. 10 also will be fine, not a problem. Okay, I'm sharing the service. And if you see what the name I gave, test file polling or something, right? Okay. The file polling listener.xml added successfully. Warning. Access to port file polling XML is currently restricted. You must edit access mode before the port will be usable. Where is our service? Test file polling. So this is the one. So if you see file polling and enabled equal to no, and access mode is by default it's coming as a deny, and then allow. If you want to give any specific IP addresses for the access, then you can give it. So for me, so this file has to be allowed. So from this port, what all things I want to edit? I can add folders or services to allow list or set access mode allow by default. Make this. I want to allow everything by default. So it will show up allow here, and then it's not enabled. I will enable it. No, cancel it. First I will place the folder file and then I will edit. Okay, this is our test file, or XML file, and I will enable it now. And with this XML file, I will place one more normal text file. So our file polling has to take only the XML file, and text file should be remain as it is. Go and enable it. Okay, so my file was executed. And if I go to my logs and I do see error message saying that my file pooling service has ran. What happened? My file pooling service was just now called. Okay, and if you want to know the details, what the file is coming up and like how it's processing, so there is a service called the public. Name of it I forgot. Just have a look. Okay. No. Okay, so this service won't accept any input, but output it will give you. So which protocol? Okay, so what is the source? Whether it's email, HTTP, FTP, file polling, JMS, or messaging. So since this file is file polling, then it will give you the file name, original file name, content type, length, and last modified for that particular file. So if you want to see, so we can see the details. So we will, okay, let me this file polling, Control C, we go to debug. Okay. Details are, okay, this is our file name. So when you're doing the substitution, variable substitution, so the variable name has to come between percentage and percentage. File name, general file name, what it will contain. Content type, length, perfect. Okay. So the perform pipeline variable substitution. Save. Okay. Control S. It's just change this extension. Check here. This file will be disappeared within 10 seconds. Gone. So if you go to your integration server, refresh your log. Okay. The file name is file polling 127 new.xml and original file name is new.xml. So this file polling has given its own name, but original from where it picked with the name new.xml, and then content type is text class XML based on the extension, and it doesn't have any data. So last modified date it's not able to find out. That's okay. Okay. So what I need from you tomorrow is okay for this service. So now, so from here, so this file polling, this okay. So just create one more file polling and get the same details, whatever you're getting here, and use of the get transport info. So this get transport info, so will tell you whenever you're receiving a file from the external source. So it will tell you from which protocol you're receiving the file, and so out of this, like either you can receive the file through the email or HTTP, FTP, file polling, JMS, and messaging. You know what is the source. By using the source, you can find out the details. Are we good? We will see the user management and ACL tomorrow. Not tomorrow, tomorrow evening. Not tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So we'll spend more time tomorrow. Maybe 2 hours.
Okay.
So we'll start around 8 and we'll go till 10. Is that okay? 8 to 10 evening. Or you want early? Okay, I will send you this recording after the class.